everybody? Welcome into Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and we're going to have a fun show on tap for you today. But before we get started, today is all about giving thanks. So let me know, what are you thankful for? Me, I'm thankful for my beautiful wife, my family, our sweet dog Sadie, all my amazing friends and family out there, my coworkers, my producer Will Ortner. I'm really thankful for his tall ass today. So let me know down in the comment section, what are you thankful for on this Thanksgiving? And we're going to have some fun on today's show because we have a Thanksgiving Day rooting guide. All 3 games that are going on today, I'll let you know who I'm rooting for and maybe who you should be rooting for as well if you're a Texans fan out there. We also have our sponsor, PrizePicks, today. I'm going to give you a PrizePicks lineup for every single game that's going on today. And at the end of today's show, stick around because we're making our Thanksgiving plates. I'm going to let you know what I'm having, and maybe you can choose your Thanksgiving plate. We're going to play a fun game at the end of today's show. First up, and maybe the least consequential game for your Houston Texans on this glorious Thanksgiving Day, Packers at Lions. And, finally I feel like we get a good Lions Thanksgiving Day matchup because growing up, it was always, the Lions are playing on Thanksgiving. We all remember, who remembers that Lions-Texans Thanksgiving game where I believe it was Forsett who wasn't down, or he was down, but they didn't rule him down. He ended up scoring a touchdown. Great memories. But Packers at the Lions on Turkey Day, and this is a battle of, 2 pretty good offenses and 2 decent defenses. Both these teams vying for that NFC North title, both of them pretty close record-wise, right? Packers 7-3-1, the Lions 7-4. So this could be a major factor for which one of these teams ends up winning the division between these 2 teams and the Chicago Bears, who actually play tomorrow on Black Friday up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I told you I'm going to give you a PrizePicks lineup for each and every single game. So let's start off with this Lions up against Packers game with our friends over at PrizePicks. I love them, and I know you will too. This is the lineup I'm going with today. Christian Watson, give me the less on his receiving yards at 50.5. Jahmyr Gibbs, this is one of the new features on PrizePicks called Stacks. You can choose one player, multiple projections. I'm going more and more on Jahmyr Gibbs. Hey, dude's a beast. I'm going more on both of those. And then Jordan Love, I'm going the less on his passing yards. You can use my lineup or take your own. Just do it with our friends over at PrizePicks. And this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is PrizePicks. Is your fantasy season already over? My team is, it's cooked like my Thanksgiving turkey. But with PrizePicks, I don't have to wait until next year's draft. PrizePicks lets you play fantasy football every week. Pick your favorite players, and when they hit their projections every week, no draft required. They got you covered over on PrizePicks, now available in more than 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use that code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And in the holiday spirit, my brother's favorite team is the Packers. So, of course, I'm going with the Lions for that first game of today's show. If my brother's watching, Curtis, hope your Packers lose. That's only the right thing to do as a brother. Now, let's talk about the 2 games that directly impact your Houston Texans. Here's the AFC playoff picture coming into today's matchups. And a big one in the Big D. Kansas City Chiefs up against the Dallas Cowboys, and I know it hurts you inside. I know it's going to hurt Texans fans inside, but you got to root for the Dallas Cowboys in this game. It does you no good if the Chiefs win this matchup up against Dallas, 5-1, up against 6-5, and my wife is a Cowboys fan, so she's probably, just loving the idea of me having to root for the Dallas Cowboys. But it's true. You got to have the Cowboys win this matchup. And, it's the Chiefs who actually have a better defense than offense this year. Kind of like last year, I feel like the offense has been slowly declining. The defense has been getting better and better each year. They have the number 4 scoring defense in the NFL up against the number 4 scoring offense in the NFL with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. This should be a barn burner in the midday slate and maybe one of the most watched games of the entire NFL season besides the Super Bowl. I mean, you have the Dallas Cowboys who, you like it or not, they get a lot of eyeballs going their way. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs. You have Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, all that nonsense. This is the lineup I'm going with for that game, though. A lot of mores because I expect this to be a high-scoring affair between the Cowboys and the Chiefs. I'm going more on the Dak Prescott passing yards. I'm going more on the George Pickens receiving yards. I got ball sacked earlier by a fake George Pickens tweet that said he posted a picture of Brittany Mahomes and said, "We feastin'." If you see that tweet, that did not happen. I got clowned by a couple coworkers because I was like, you won't believe what George Pickens posted. He actually didn't post that. But I do think he's going to post more than 5.5 receptions tomorrow or today. Kareem Hunt, rushing and receiving touchdowns. I'm going the more on that. I think he'll hit Pater. And then Patrick Mahomes, like I said, it's going to be a high-scoring affair, so 24.5 pass completions. Give me the more on that as well. Let's go into the nightcap for today's Thanksgiving festivities. Another division battle to end today's game. Started off with a division battle. We're going to end with a division battle going from the NFC North now to the AFC North, with both teams basically needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Bengals more so than the Baltimore Ravens, who are sitting at 6-5 and weirdly enough currently lead the AFC North. We all thought this was going to be the best division in football, and it's just not. Now, the Bengals have been without Joe Burrow, and, props to him. He said, I don't care what our record is. If I'm good to go, I'm going to play. And, I'm not a Bengals fan. I'm not necessarily a Joe Burrow fan, but you got to love that mentality. You got to love that attitude in today's NFL when we got a bunch of, soft-ass players who are, willing to, not play, willing to sit out, this, that, or the other. Joe Burrow, he said, no, I'm going to stick with my guys. I'm going to play the rest of the season. So props to him. So I know the scoring offense, the scoring defense for the Bengals as well, maybe a little bit skewed because of Joe Burrow's absence. And you could say the same thing about the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson being out. We know that as Houston Texans fans, right? When the Texans played the Ravens, we absolutely stomped them. But they were without Lamar Jackson. They were without a lot of the key pieces on the defensive side of the football. So this is what I'm going to go with for the night game for my PrizePicks lineup. Chase Brown, give me the more on his receiving yards. Derrick Henry, I think he's going to get more on his rush attempts. Joe Burrow, first game back, maybe knocking off the rust a little bit. So I'm going to go less on his passing yards. And then Lamar Jackson, I'm actually going to go less on his passing and rush yards combined. I think it'll be a big day for the running backs and the quarterbacks. Even though they're the premier matchup, everybody's going to be looking at the Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. I think they might take a little bit of a backseat to the running games in today's matchup. Now, coming up, let's make our Thanksgiving plate. Let's talk about food because it's football, it's food, it's friends and family. The 4 big F's of Thanksgiving. 5 if you have a lucky someone out there. You know what I mean, Will Ortner. But before I go with my Thanksgiving plate, tell you what I'm going to be eating on today's show, I want to say thank you to each one of y'all because I appreciate y'all so much. I'm hoping that y'all have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much to everybody who watches the content, who is subscribed, who interacted with me on social media, anything like that. Truly, y'all help me out so much. Without y'all, I'd just be a man screaming into the camera. Y'all really help this community go. Y'all help this community thrive. And don't think that that goes unnoticed because each and every single day, whenever I see y'all interact with my videos, watch my videos, share them, comment, like, subscribe, it does. It means the world to me because y'all help me achieve my dream, which is covering the Houston Texans each and every single day. So from me and the Chat Sports family, I'm wishing you a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Now, let's talk about the food. I found this online and I thought, hey, let's have a little bit of fun and build your Thanksgiving fantasy lineup with $20. You see the lineup right there, kind of going down. You can choose one main course between a whole turkey, ham, white meat, dark meat, tofurkey. I mean, you pick tofurkey. I'm sorry. Maybe there's some vegans out there, but that just does not look appetizing to me. And then you can go a potato dish, a side dish, a second side dish, a dessert, and if you have some extra money, there's some extras down there. This was maybe the hardest part of my day deciding what my plate was going to be on today's show. This is what I'm going to go with, though. I'm going to go with a little dark meat turkey. I don't know why it was cheaper than the white meat. I'm a dark meat guy. Pause. Then for my potatoes, I feel like you got to go with mashed potatoes. You just got to go with the mashed potatoes. Then I'm going stuffing, mac and cheese, and then I'm going cheesecake. Add it all up. That's my $20 plate. And we don't have to go with the weigh-in, right? You can just do the normal weigh-in with this one. That's fine for me. I showed you what mine is. Now, I need you to show me what yours is. I showed you mine. Now it's time for you to show me yours. Let me know, what are you having on your plate? What are you putting together on your $20 plate? And you know what? Let's just go ahead and show the photo again. Let's just show them the photo of the $20 plate, because I want to know from you, what are you putting on your plate for this Thanksgiving? If you had to choose from all the options here in this photo right now, let me know. Make your $20 plate down in the comments section. Let me know. Did I make the right move? My producer, Ortner, said he's going all desserts. He said if he could choose one thing, he's spending all $20 on pumpkin pie, apple pie, and cheesecake. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But let me know down in the comment section how you're making your Thanksgiving plate. And once again, I hope everybody is having a great Thanksgiving filled with food, with loved ones, and, having a happy and healthy time on this, great holiday. I mean, I love food. I love football, family, friends. Can't go wrong. You can hit me up on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs. My DMs are always open. And if you made it to the end of today's show, make sure to hit that subscribe button for daily videos around your Houston Texans.